Hi, and welcome back to another Marshall Trades Crypto. Yeah, it's been a bit of a bleak one today. Just going to show you the current state of the portfolio. It is down a wee bit, not too much, which is good. Again, we haven't topped up recently, so technically speaking, it's actually quite stable. Yeah, been accumulating a bit of Sentinel. You can see that we've went from, I think in the last video, probably around the 3,000 Sentinel to, yeah, just shy of 10,000. It's not much in dollar value, but again, for a really small project, stacking some fairly substantial bags, not that 10,000 is, but again, over time, planning on increasing that to probably about 100,000. Um, yeah, just going to see how this progresses, see how the price action sort of takes off, see how the project sort of takes off, and yeah, if everything looks good, we'll start increasing probably to about 25, 50,000 initially, and then yeah, just take it from there. Um, Other than that, that's kind of all I've been really focusing on. Increased a bit of the atom supply, so we've taken it from about I think 30 in the last video to about 41. So still have more atom. Again, this is all coming from just the osmosis staking rewards. So as you can see here, currently got about 1,300 Osmo staked. On average, I get typically about six Osmo a day, which is roughly, I mean, give or take, $35 depending on the price, but it has been as high as $7 a coin, so therefore it's been closer to the 45 mark. So that's all good. And again, considering this is all free money, it's essentially just it's really adding up now, which is quite nice to see. Um, yeah, and as I said, been a bit of a downer this week, as you can see here, very red, very red. To be fair, they're not necessarily the biggest losses. Everything is fairly stable in crypto terms. Uh, I think a major contributor to what you're seeing here is, again, if we go to the actual physical stock market that's in the real world, you can see just how red every single sector is across the board. We're really starting to see money start to flow back out of the market, which is obviously then having a subsequent effect on this market because you've really got to see the bigger picture here. As much as we're seeing this as one sort of heat map, it is one fairly small, insignificant piece of this massive puzzle right now. So when this is down, unfortunately, the crypto markets are down. It's how it is. It's how it's always been, and it's probably going to be how it is for quite some time. Um, until we see some properly major adoption of crypto, I think that's how it's going to be. But yeah, I'd actually quite like to, as I was talking about with the Sentinel sort of accumulation, I was quite interested in actually just giving you a bit of an overview slash look at what it is. I was actually quite surprised and amazed at what they're trying to do, how it's coming together, and again, when it comes to use case, if you've watched some of the previous vids on my channel, use case is key, very much key. If the product's good, chances are the user adoption is going to be good. And there's a few stats here on this website that I quite like to point to, which really shows how much adoption it's getting, and also to give you a bit of context. I use a provider called Surfshark. Um, where is it? It's on a different screen. No idea where it is. Yeah, I use a provider called Surfshark VPN, which again is just your standard thing. It's a bit like TunnelBear, all those fun things. Just comes with a simple user interface, allows you to select a location. It's a VPN. Everyone knows what they are, especially if they're in the crypto space. I'm not going to bore you. But what I quite like about what Sentinel's trying to do, it's trying to essentially decentralize the entirety of the VPN sort of industry, which is pretty cool. And what's interesting, as I say, about Surfshark, the one that I'm paying quite a bit of money for per year at this point, is it was slower. You could probably argue Sentinel has a lot less people in the nodes, so therefore it's probably going to be faster. But we're talking 8K footage here. Like that's no easy. Um, that's not easy to shift through. The internet, especially when you see that just the sheer size of some of these videos. To put it in perspective, I think YouTube when it was downloading, for a 3 minute video, it used just shy of 7.5 gigabytes of data. That all came through seamlessly. There was absolutely no downtime. It just played. It was fantastic. yeah, it's definitely worth having a look. Currently, is a bit limited in the sense of you can only use it on Android and iOS at the minute. There is, however, uh, a desktop application that's currently in development. It's going to be open sourced. Currently, there is no date. It's potentially going to be around November, from what I've seen on sort of Reddit and those places. However, wouldn't quote me on that personally. But you can see here you get a very simple user interface. You select the country or the location or the node. Very similar to other sort of VPN software, and off to the races. And as you can see here, the beauty of what they're building, because it's open source, is it allows a lot of other providers to come in, look at the network of nodes, and essentially build software that can then be sold like typical VPNs. So therefore, I'll show you the white paper in a minute, what they're actually planning on doing, how they're planning for mass adoption, and this is the bit that really interests me because ultimately some people just aren't going to get into crypto. It's as simple as that. The crypto users, fantastic. They'll probably come in, they'll probably use it. There's no reason they wouldn't, especially if you're slightly tech minded. You probably know what's going on here. But again, the average Joe particularly isn't going to get into crypto just for a VPN service, and what they're planning on doing is quite nice here. So as you can see here, you can definitely set up and monetize your own VPN applications. And the general consensus is look at the network, grab the nodes, build the software around it, and charge via traditional payment methods, but then pay the network in its native currency, and that's how you essentially become a service, a VPN service, pretty much overnight, which is quite nice. So, as I was talking about user adoption, we're talking about 900 terabytes of data has been transmitted through this. These are probably really out of date stats, to be completely honest with you, because again, this website has been updated in quite a few weeks. But yeah, other than that, great. The average ratings across platforms seems to be fantastic. Looks as if there's about 200,000 concurrent users on all platforms, which is pretty impressive for a crypto project. Um, and this is the important one: the daily average users. The fact we have 10,000, that's quite a substantial number for an application in the App Store. I think typically if you're looking at around the 1,000 to 1,500, starting off as a small project, you're doing well, especially with daily concurrent users. To have 10,000, that says something. It really does. But yeah, back to their main page. Where was I going to go here? Oh, sorry, it was the white paper I was going to go to. That's where I was at. Yeah, just down to as I was talking about the sort of the crypto side, and then obviously the more the non-typical crypto user. What they're planning on doing through again the use of open source in this software, so therefore people can use the network as a nodes as a service type thing to allow they can build essentially VPN and software and sell it to your traditional mainstream audience. So what you're seeing here is you've got the Sentinel network across the world. You've got the crypto audience that just straight up through the standard Sentinel app, they just straight up connect to the network and they're off to the races with their money, their wallets all connected to it. But the main one here is the mainstream audience. As you can see, there's sort of the fiat on ramp, and this is the major part here, the major component. I've always said that blockchains that function as backends to services that users never ever see or hear or know about will probably be the most successful. It's a bit like the XRP sort of side of things. And I'm not saying XRP will be successful, I'm just saying the fact there is generally some interest from banks to use that as sort of a native currency between them. There's because of those talks, it's quite interesting that there's a high chance that's probably going to happen at this point. And it's a similar sort of thing with generally anything that tries to hide the blockchain, I'd say. So again, some of these users are going to come along to VPN service A, B, and C. It's just white labeled products using again open source software that Exito provides, and they're just going to be paying again PayPal, credit cards, you name it, and through traditional payment sort of brokers, they're going to take the payment, they're going to transfer that to Sentinel and decentralized exchanges, And then, based on their usage, they're just going to pay the network for their use, essentially, which is pretty sweet. It's going to potentially bring quite a lot of money into the ecosystem that, not just Sentinel, that's the cool thing about this. Realistically, that's going to get filtered through potentially Osmo and definitely Atom. Like, there's more than less no question about that, I think. And then from there, it might end up going out into stable coins. It might end up going to exchanges just to be straight up traded back to currency, direct currency, if these companies aren't interested in crypto. But you're going to see money move around, which is quite interesting about this. Yeah. Other than that, though, it's definitely worth having a read. And I'll pop this white paper in the video description. And yeah, have a look into it. It's really really cool, especially if there's one thing I can recommend, download and download the VPN app onto your mobile phone. So if you've got Android or iOS, this will work pretty much across all devices. Give that a week, see how it works out. If you're paying for a VPN, compare them. Like honestly, it surprised me how flexible and good just the Sentinel network was compared to the standard Surfshark integration. So yeah, definitely something to look at. Hopefully this clears up. As I say, it's not looking healthy on the major stock market side of things. It really isn't. But as they say, the Fed's been pumping that thing for months now, so it was inevitable that it was going to have a pullback in some capacity. Don't think this is the end of it personally. Realistically, I think this is going to go on for at least a few weeks to a few months. If we don't see a major crash in January, then who knows really? Again, this is all speculation. I am not a financial advisor. Um, please consult anyone. Please consult with a financial advisor before you make any investment decisions, especially in crypto. Always remember, stay safe. Don't put down too much. And if you like the video, give me a subscribe, hit that like button, and hopefully, I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, in other words, have a good one, and until the next video, goodbye.